Hey, Colin here. We're at Bayview Flooring and Design. Robin Whipple here. She is one of our preferred flooring vendors. And we're just kind of going to talk about the flooring process, working with you guys, the different flooring options that we have that we can utilize in new homes and commercial projects nowadays. Also, maybe if there's some design trends that you're aware of that people are utilizing. So I was hoping we
Absolutely.
could pick your brain about that.
Yeah. Well, there's so many things available on the market today that it sometimes can be actually overwhelming for the client.
Yeah,
And it's why when the client first comes into the store, I think it's so important that we stop for a minute before we even start
yeah,
looking at products. And I get to know the client,
yeah.
get to know about their family, about their children, about their pets,
Like how they're going to use the
grandchildren.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And then also the location of their home. Is it a waterfront property or is it on acreage?
right.
Because it makes a difference.
Well, the
It's,
humidity of those waterfront properties can play into the products a
oh my
lot.
gosh, huge. Yeah. And you can use hardwood flooring in a lakefront home,
Yeah,
but with caution,
right.
because of the humidity.
Yeah, we've set up some projects in the past where we've had some extra layers of protection in there and just things you need to pay attention to and plan for in that early planning process.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's all about expectation.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
We want to talk about those things
And
in
and
advance.
the budget that people are looking to maintain.
Right.
That's a big aspect as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Because the luxury vinyls today are so realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people are going in that direction versus the hardwood floors, because there aren't quite as many concerns about humidity,
yeah,
moisture,
right.
water,
Yeah.
and also they are a better value in general.
Right. I know
They're
we've been using them even on a lot of very nice homes,
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
yep. A lot of the higher end homes that we're doing today are utilizing luxury vinyl versus
Right.
hardwood.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you look at some of the floors that we have down here in our showroom, and we've got probably between 250 and 300 showroom displays where
Wow.
people can actually see the flooring
And
installed.
this is a massive place. You guys
Yeah,
have a lot of samples so people can see, feel, and touch a lot of the items that you'd be proposing, or at least something very similar to what you can get. And I know you guys can get about anything.
we can get anything, absolutely. Yep. With what we have under this roof, we offer literally millions of
Wow.
choices and opportunities for the customer to
And that's
create that
really what you
beautiful.
help with is focus on their needs and then help direct them in the right direction and listening to, what it is that they're looking for and
Exactly.
help
Yep.
focus those hunts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but as far as trends go, probably one of the biggest trends that we're seeing, besides the hardwood and luxury vinyl, is in the tile world.
Yeah.
Okay. Because tile has come a long ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. 20 years ago, people didn't use tile like they use it today.
Right.
Yeah. And the tiles that were used were 6x6s, 8x8s. We went to larger format tiles,
we have
which
some
back in the
massive
day,
ones.
12x12s, we thought they were big.
Right.
Now we're using 24-inch by 48-inch tiles.
Right.
Yep. And some of these products are just amazingly beautiful,
Oh wow.
like this product.
So that looks a lot like marble there.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You can put this on the floor or on the wall.
What kind of
Most
material is this?
commonly,
This is
this is porcelain.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
that is convincing. That
Yeah.
looks a lot like a real marble.
Yeah, doesn't it though?
How does
Yep.
that compare to the cost of a real marble?
Exponentially less
Is it?
expensive.
Is
Yep. And then you have the maintenance.
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense.
If this was a marble floor, it would have to be sealed.
Right.
Okay.
And they
And
scratch so easy, marble does.
It does because
Yeah.
it's soft.
Mhm.
Yep. Whereas porcelain, all of these porcelain tiles meet commercial specifications
For grip or strength.
for strength.
Okay.
Yep, and porosity levels.
Okay.
Yep. And then we have, tiles like Highland Park here, is a great example of a product that looks like a hand molded tile.
Yeah.
Okay. And historically, hand molded tiles have been out of the range of most clients,
Mm-hmm.
because they're cost prohibitively
Right.
expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, you could spend $100 a square foot or more on a true handmade tile.
Wow.
Okay, these are machine-made tiles that look like hand mold, and they're truly a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have a
So-
tile real similar to this on my backsplash in
yeah,
the
the
house.
arabesque.
Is that what that's called?
Yep, that's
Yeah,
what that's called.
That's a
yep.
real traditional kind of shape, isn't
It
it?
is. Yep, yep. And it came back into popularity probably about 10 years ago, and
Oh.
it's still, a popular item. People like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, we also have, the more traditional looking tiles. Again, if you look down at the showroom floor, more opportunities for the customers to see what's installed.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
this
I know.
tile right here.
We were for a little while seeing a lot of these wood look tiles. Are you still seeing as many of those?
Not as much.
Yeah.
No, I think that most people that look at the wood look tiles wind up going back to luxury vinyl and to real wood.
Right.
Yeah, it's cost prohibitive.
Right.
Okay, to
Yeah.
do, large areas in that type of material.
Yeah. Exactly.
And most people that are doing luxury vinyl and hardwood floors, they don't need 100 square feet of it. They need 1,000 square
Right.
feet of it.
Yeah.
So when you look at the square foot cost of the tile versus other options, it's considerably more expensive.
So, Robin, I see you've got some plans on here. Is this the next step after you've talked with people and kind of understood what their needs are and where their locations are and all of that? Is your next step to go ahead and figure out the flooring, or where do you go from there?
It is, yes. So usually you send me a plan
Mhm.
in advance before the client arrives.
Right.
And I try to put together in my mind the direction that the customer might like to go.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as hard surfaces, maybe carpet in bedrooms and so forth. Just again to try to prepare for the client.
Which sometimes we have notes that kind of help us along the way.
They
Maybe they've been
do.
provided, or maybe you use your expertise to
Yep.
help that.
And a lot of times you can kind of gauge by, looking at the floor plan,
Yeah.
is this a entry level home, a
Right.
mid-grade quality home, or a higher end home?
Right.
Okay. And you guys cover the whole gamut.
Right.
Yep. You do everything from an entry level home to a high
Absolutely.
end home.
Yep. So
Yeah.
we see every
Yeah.
level of them.
Yeah. Yep. So in advance of the client arriving, I go through their plan and kind of get a feel for what the house looks like.
Sure.
So that when the client arrives, I know how many bedrooms are in the house, how many bathrooms are in the house. Might note that there's a steam shower so that we talk
Right.
about.
Because those have to
Oh.
be treated entirely different.
They do.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. But again, I just try to get to know the house
Right.
before the client arrives. Okay, so that when they come in and we're standing here, it's not the first time I've looked at their floor plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's your next step after
Yeah.
you've
Well,
gotten
once
familiar?
the client comes in, then we'll stand here. Okay. We also have sit-down tables if it's an elderly couple. Sometimes people are more comfortable.
Sure.
For myself, I'm more comfortable standing. So, but we'll go through their floor plan and talk about what their dream home is going to look like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. If they're thinking that they want, hardwood floor throughout all of the public areas, the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, they want carpet, they want tile in the bathroom, they want heated tile
Right.
in the bathroom. And that's pretty common in the master bathroom.
Yeah, we do it on maybe half of the houses we build.
Yeah.
It's most typically something that we propose initially, and if we need to save some money, it's something that can be removed, but it feels really nice in the winter.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Love it.
Yeah. And even in the summertime,
Yeah.
to have that nice warm
Yeah.
floor to walk in on.
For sure.
Yeah. In fact, when I do my estimates, if the master bathroom calls out for tile, I always itemize
Which
the
I
cost
love
of
that.
heat.
Yeah, we always propose it initially, and if we need to constrict the budget, then that's one of the things that usually is on the chopping block first, because it is a luxury, but it's a really nice luxury.
It is a nice luxury.
Yeah.
And it's always itemized. Okay, so it's never part of the estimate,
Yeah.
but it's always listed.
Yeah.
Yep. I also, pride myself in the way I do my estimates, that you're not getting, a total number,
Right.
that everything's broke down.
Well, and that's important because a lot of times in this early phase, our customers don't know exactly what they want. They're kind of exploring different possibilities, and
Yes.
they're trying to respect a budget.
Yeah.
And we're trying to help maintain the overall project cost. So it's really important that we have these different price points so we can kind of go, okay, well, that's a big number. Maybe we need to shrink that one a little bit somehow. And you've got some great expertise on how we can value engineer a lot of those things.
Exactly. So yeah, so it's really about, talking to the client
Mhm.
and going through the floor plan.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when clients come in, they never leave this table.
Really?
Yep. That I get to know enough about what they have in mind, and hopefully, they've got cabinets selected already for the kitchen.
Yeah.
So that kind of will give me some direction, and then I'll start bringing things to them
Yeah.
because it can be overwhelming.
I know in our process, what we normally do, you and I, in the initial estimating process
Yeah.
of a house, is you help us build a baseline budget.
Yeah.
And I usually try to give you a little insight. Are we looking at an entry-level home, a mid-level home, a high-level home? And you do a great job of trying to set budgets based on realistic measurements that you've measured on those plans.
Correct.
So you help us build a pretty accurate budget. So when they come in, they've kind of got a target of at least how they maintain the budget that we've built, but they
Yeah.
can go over or under based on their selections.
Yeah, because when I do the estimate, I give a square foot allowance.
Yeah.
Okay, for the materials that they use.
Right.
So, for instance, if they're doing luxury vinyl and I give them a $6 a square foot budget, and they pick something out that's more or less expensive than that, it's really easy to extrapolate that and tell them exactly where they are.
Yeah.
Okay. Or if they decide, hey, I really don't want luxury vinyl, I want hardwood.
Right.
We can talk about that. And because it's already formatted and it's already itemized, it's easy to recalculate
Yeah.
just standing right here without making it difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And I've just found that offering that square foot budget allowance, okay, it's a good entry.
Mhm.
Okay. I also give realistic estimates.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't make it so inexpensive that, you can choose from these 10 items. Okay.
Well, and that's why we continue to work with you guys, because it's smooth, it's easy, it works for our customers, and you do a really good job of building a realistic budget that we tend to be pretty close to people's expectations
Yeah.
when we set the budget.
Yep. I would not disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't deviated too much. In fact, we've had a couple that you've helped those clients save a whole lot from the budget.
Yeah.
I'm sure they made some aggressive choices to get there, but I've seen some magic going down as well.
Yeah. And when it's done, it's still beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And the beauty of that is with what we offer in our showroom, everything is going to be a good quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Specifically
Yeah.
in the luxury vinyl world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything that we sell, that I promote, is going to be a 20 mil wear surface or more.
Okay.
Okay. So it's going to hold up and perform and meet the customer's expectations.
Okay.
Okay. So we don't carry products like they carry at the big box. We're not the big box.
How much is a mil? I mean, that's approximately, about a little more than a
Yeah.
millimeter, right?
Yeah, it's easiest to show the client by
Mhm.
just putting this in their hands.
Yep.
Yep.
I've seen those.
Okay. This is a 20 mil wear surface, and I can't tell you how often I show that to a client.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of our products have a 30 mil wear surface, but if you go to the big box, you're going to find a lot of those products are 6 and 8 mil.
Yeah, I've
Okay?
seen that.
And for
And that's the part that's going to protect from scratching and gouging, and
exactly
that's your
wear
protective
through.
layer.
Yeah. So, again, I've been doing this for 40 years. It's not promoted really so much that way anymore.
Mhm.
But we always used to say that for every mil of wear surface, you should get about a year.
Oh,
Okay.
I've
And
never
that's
heard it that
really
way.
with proper maintenance, making sure that you're using felt floor pads under
Yeah.
all of your chairs, bar stools, and so
Yeah.
forth, okay, to protect the floor. And of course, keeping the sand and grit off the floor.
Sure.
Just good maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay. But the cost to install a floor is the same, regardless if it has a 6 or 8 mil
Right.
or if a 20 mil.
Right. It's just going to last
So,
a little longer.
so do you want a floor that's going to last 6 or 8 years? Or do you want a floor that's going to last potentially 20 years or more?
Right. Yeah. Easy
Yeah.
decision.
So if we look at, these particular products right here, and we have other brands, of course, to
Mhm.
choose from as well, but these floors are not necessarily more of an entry-level floor, although some of these are entry-level flooring, still have a 20 mil wear surface.
Okay.
Okay, but these floors are going to be those floors that are about 1/4 of an inch thick.
Right.
Okay, well, that could be problematic if you have a client that's using this floor and they're butting up to a tile floor.
Right.
Okay, because you're going to have a difference in heights of the floors of up to 1/2 of an inch.
Right.
Okay, so there's options. You can always put additional underlayment underneath this flooring to raise it up to the
Mhm.
thickness of the tile. Okay, but there's cost of materials and labor involved there.
I've
Or
always kind of observed too, some of the thinner ones have a different sound than the thicker ones. Some of the thicker ones actually have a more solid wood-like sound
they
when you
do.
walk on them.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. The thicker ones, because there's more weight to the product, when you walk across it, it's just more solid underfoot.
Right.
Okay. So more deflection.
hmm
Okay. In the products that are thinner. The
So-
wear surface is still good.
Where would our clients want to choose LVP? Like, what are the benefits that you see of LVP flooring, and what
Yep.
does it stand for, just for everybody who doesn't
Yeah.
know?
Well, LVP stands for luxury vinyl plank.
Right.
Okay. So it's plank flooring.
hmm
So there's also LVT,
And what's the
luxury
difference?
vinyl tile.
Okay, so that's
Okay.
the tile.
So we're seeing more and more products in the luxury vinyl world
Yeah.
that look like tile.
Right.
Okay.
And they're pretty convincing.
They are. They're
Yeah.
beautiful. Yep. And, they're a lot less expensive than doing a tile floor. So if you're doing a entry-level home, that would be a better option perhaps
Mm-hmm.
for a client. Okay. Or if it's an area in the lower level that's not going to be used as often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we've used LVP as one cost savings in lieu of using tile in like secondary bathrooms and stuff. And it allows us to get some of that wood look right on into a bathroom, which is kind of reminiscent of an older house.
It
but
is.
at least this isn't going to be rot prone. We've all seen the floors at the base of a toilet in an old Victorian home, and they
Oh,
tend
boy.
to be getting kind of waterlogged. But this
Yeah,
is
they get a little soft.
Right.
Yeah.
so.
Real wood really isn't designed for full
Exactly.
bathrooms.
And
Water road.
LVP's impervious to water, so it's
It is. Yeah, these
perfect for
floors
lower
are
levels.
100% waterproof.
hmm
Yeah, so they're not flood proof.
Right.
Okay, but they're 100% waterproof. So
Exactly.
you can put them in a full bath, you can put them in a laundry room, mud rooms,
Yeah.
all of those areas of the home.
Right. So
Yeah.
they're super good in a basement situation. They can be good in a bathroom situation.
Absolutely. Yep. Although when you use it in a basement, we do have to put a vapor barrier
Right.
underneath it.
Yeah.
Yep. And the vapor barrier is just to protect the floor and keep any moisture that might come through that slab from coming in contact with the back of the floor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then, again, these are, not necessarily entry level floors, but these are going to be less expensive than some of the other options.
What would a higher end LVP look like?
Yeah. A higher end luxury vinyl is going to look more like some of these products.
That's quite a bit thicker here, and these are the ones that seem to
yeah.
sound a lot more solid.
Exactly. So if you look at that floor, it's 5/8 of an inch thick.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's almost nearing hardwood thickness.
It is. Yep. Yep. In fact, one of our most popular hardwood lines that we can take a look at is 5/8 of an
Yeah.
inch thick.
Right.
Okay. Which kind of gets us into another area that a lot of times people really don't understand luxury vinyl, and they just think it's impervious to everything.
Right.
They're like, oh, I've got 3 kids, I've got 2 dogs, and I
Yeah.
want luxury vinyl because it's not going to scratch.
Right.
If you can scratch a hardwood floor, you can scratch this floor.
Right.
Okay, they are equivalent
Yeah.
to one another in that respect.
Yeah.
Okay, what these offer is that water, okay, and moisture and humidity. Okay, because everybody loves to have their windows open, but when the humidity is high and you have a hardwood floor, okay, that floor is going to grow with that
Mhm.
humidity.
Yeah. And these
Okay.
tend to be a lot more stable in
These
those
are much more
situations.
stable.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, this is really a better option for many people, especially if you like to have your windows open.
For sure.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of times we'll use these products, even some of the higher end ones, they're similar in material cost to some hardwoods, or
Yes.
can get in that range.
Correct.
But the installation can be substantially less. So we oftentimes use this for kind of a value engineering. If we need to reduce the budget a little bit, that installation cost can really help to reduce the budget a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. Because when you put in a luxury vinyl like this, the installation rate of this versus a hardwood floor is going to be at least $2 a square foot less.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a lot less work to do these. They're really quick moving
Yeah.
floors. But
Yeah.
the negative is, we end up with this type of floor. We end up with some thresholds that can be raised and can be seen. So that's just something to know about any floating type of floor is there are thresholds that
Yeah,
the
there are
manufacturers-
transitions that are required.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's a floating floor, so the only thing that's holding it down is gravity.
Right.
Yeah.
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 That's something I always like to point out to potential customers that, that is part of that type of floor. And if you don't like that, that's probably not the floor for you.
Right. Yeah. So where we meet up to exterior doors, sliders, where we meet up to carpet,
Mhm.
all of those areas. And even because it's a floating floor, if you go over great distances, then you might need a movement joint
Right.
installed in the floor.
Yeah.
Whereas with a hardwood floor, really the only trim that we need most of the time with a hardwood floor is the stair nose at the
Right.
top of the steps. Okay.
Could
And
you-
everything else gets nailed in.
Could you kind of show us the wood floor? Because this looks a lot like wood floor. The images are getting super real. Could you show us a real wood floor and show us, maybe the positives and negatives of a real wood
Absolutely.
floor?
Yeah. So, and probably one of the big positive negatives, and then we'll take a walk over there, is that we know that these floors are going to get damaged, that they're going to get scratched,
Yeah.
that something's going to happen. Okay. But in 20 years, what that hardwood floor is going to look like versus 20 years with a vinyl. Okay. With a vinyl floor, there's nothing that can be done to restore that floor. Okay. So if in 20 years it's starting to look tired,
Yeah.
okay, is the term I like to look for.
It's a
To
nice term.
use. Yeah. There's just nothing you can do about it.
Okay. So you would just replace it at that point.
Then you
so
would replace it.
kind of are taking that savings up front, more or less.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah. Whereas if you look at the hardwood floors, and this floor right here, is a perfect example of a white oak engineered hardwood. Okay. And this floor has actually been down for about 6 or 7 years. Okay.
Pretty good in a
one of the
commercial
highest
environment like that.
traffic areas
Yeah.
in our showroom. So it looks pretty amazingly great considering. But if this floor gets scratched or damaged, okay, and this really doesn't show too much scratch and damage to it, but in 20 years in a residential application, something's going to happen.
Sure.
But you could have somebody come in and sand and refinish this floor.
How many times do you think this one could be sanded and refinished?
Most floors are going to be about the same, 1 or 2 times. Okay.
So even an engineered floor will have some possibility
Absolutely.
to be
Yep.
resanded. Would you say it's similar to a solid, like 3/4 inch wood floor?
Not so different, yeah, because even with a solid hardwood floor, and we can take a look at some of the solid hardwood floors, there's only so much wood above the tongue.
Yeah,
Okay, and once you get to the tongue,
that's where the nails start showing, and no
Exactly.
longer. That's what's holding it down.
yeah, and you have to have a sustainable amount of wood above the tongue
Right.
to keep that floor
So
together.
it's pretty similar to
So
this.
it really is very similar.
But the engineered floors like this, and maybe you can kind of show us a side profile of
Yeah.
these, but the engineered flooring like these allow us in some more humid areas that maybe you wouldn't be as comfortable putting a solid wood floor
Absolutely.
in for, 'cause a little more stable.
Well, or you can do the solid hardwood floors,
Mhm.
but your upfront cost in preparation for
Mhm.
doing that is much higher.
Right.
The amount of moisture
Yep.
abatement materials that are used underneath the floor to protect it.
And we like
Yeah.
to, when we do solid wood floor in those environments, have additional systems like maybe a dehumidifier to ensure that areas don't get more humid than we intend them to. Because like the ideal home humidity is plus or minus 10%, and real wood needs to stay somewhere. The more humidity change, the more it moves.
Oh my
and-
gosh, yeah. And the harder the hardwood also,
Yeah.
the more it moves.
Yeah.
Okay. So the difference between white oak and hickory is considerable. And then you
Right.
get into the exotics and it's even more. Yeah.
So
But you look at, these floors. The other thing with these engineered products is that you can get these wider planks, which are all of the rage today.
which would not be a wise move in solid
my gosh.
3/4 inch hardwood.
Absolutely
That would be a
not.
very unstable width.
Correct. Yeah, really in a solid hardwood floor, we don't really want to see anything more than 3 1/4 inch if
Mhm.
it's going to be a consistent hardwood floor.
Right.
So if it's going to be the same width across the board. Okay. We do have some products that offer varying widths, like a 3, 4, 5, and those are acceptable. But you
And
wouldn't want to
we-
do a full
we
5 inch.
Did a solid wood floor just this year, you and I, that had 3, 4, 5s. And,
Yeah.
but we went to a lot of extenuating ways to manage that moisture. We've got dehumidifiers in the crawl space, and we've got moisture barriers that you helped us
Yeah.
get. And then it is a solid wood floor on that, but we
Right.
feel good of it about it because of those extra measures that we put in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And that client was special, because they understood wood and
Right.
they understood the dynamics
Right.
of expansion and contraction.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand that. So trying to
Yeah.
explain that to them and then explain the cost that's involved with making it acceptable to put
Right.
it in their home
Yes.
is hard for some people to swallow.
Right.
Okay. Even a product like this, requires some extra steps,
Mhm.
because it is still solid hardwood, even though it's engineered.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I
Yeah.
understand when we pre-finish, sometimes, I know this is true with solid wood, they tend to finish all around on all sides as opposed to just the one surface side as well. Is that true for engineered wood?
It is not. No,
Okay.
the top is finished. Okay. With the engineered floors, the finish will wrap over the edge.
Okay.
Okay. But it's not on the back of the floor.
Okay. And that's
Okay.
fine because that's a stabilized plywood underneath there?
Correct.
Got it.
Yep, it sure is. Yep. If you look at the construction of most of our hardwood floors, and it's going to be hard to really see this on film, but you can see the multi-ply.
Mhm.
Okay. And again, kind of going back to that analogy, and I love to talk to people about that with these hardwood floors that are engineered, is homes 100 years ago were built with 2-inch thick wood across the floor joist. Okay, because it had to be that thick in order to be stable on the floor.
Right.
Well, we don't do that anymore today.
Yeah.
What do you use today?
OSB most typically, or plywood,
Right.
depending on the home.
Yep, and it's 3/4 inch.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so it's much thinner.
And it's stronger than that old stuff used to be, and it doesn't squeak and it doesn't move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the same goes true for the hardwood floors. Okay, you can do hardwood floors, but they're not as dimensionally stable as these, and they're not as strong.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So plywood,
technology.
they have opposing layers. So they'll have one layer that goes this way of
Yep.
strands, and then they'll have one layer of this way. That way it's more dimensionally stable and doesn't move as much.
And they do the same thing with hardwood floors. It's
Yeah.
exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some products that are on different types of core that are less expensive. The ones that I really like to promote are constructed just like you just described.
That makes
The
sense.
multi-ply construction.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they have, a nice thick wear surface on top. None of these products have a veneer. Okay. None of the products that I promote. We do have some less expensive products.
And it looks like on this product, at least about an 1/8 inch of actual wood on
Yeah,
there.
it's actually measured in millimeters.
Okay.
Okay. That they're between 2 and 4 millimeters, depending on the product.
Okay.
Okay. Which, when you get into the 4 millimeter, that's the same amount of hardwood that's above the tongue on a 3/4 inch solid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
So what other options in engineered wood flooring are there? Are there
Yeah.
more options, or is that
There
about
are
it?
more options. Yep. So we've talked about, the engineered wood floors with the UV cured urethane.
Mhm.
Okay. We also have lines like the line right here behind you. And some of these floors have an oiled finish.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. So these floors do require a little bit of maintenance. Okay. Annually, the whole floor needs to be oiled
every year. Okay.
every year. Yep. These floors are going to be a little bit more expensive. Okay. Than other options. Okay. But this floor never has to be refinished. So the UV cured urethanes, depending on the amount of traffic you have in your home, you might need to have somebody come in and screen and recoat that floor or sand and refinish that floor in years to come, whether
Sure.
that's 10 years, 20 years,
So this
25.
is more of a penetrating finish, and this is more of a coating.
Correct. Yep. So that penetrating oil needs to be replenished annually. Okay. But the beauty of it is that if you get a scratch on the floor, even a significant gouge in the floor, you can smooth it out, re-oil it, and just keep living on your floor.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So
I was not aware of that option. I don't think we've had on a job yet. That's
we
cool.
have not had one of these on one of your jobs yet, and it's not our most popular. Okay, because it's a little more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it requires that work commitment by
And-
whomever might want that, but that might be for somebody who wants that old world feel, because I would imagine that's maybe a bit more traditional, like when you go way back.
It is, yep. But over here, we have 3/4 inch solids. Okay. And this is actually a made in Michigan line. These floors all have the UV cured urethane, 3/4 inch solid.
Which line is this?
Yep. This is actually Chelsea Hardwood.
Okay, this is
Yep.
what we did in the
In
project
the
this
Elk
year. That's what I
Rapids home.
thought. Yeah.
Yep. They have all regional hardwoods. So they have red oak, white oak,
Right.
maple,
Yeah.
ash, and hickory. Yep. In fact, I'm in the process of building a home myself right
Yeah.
now, and I'm using this hardwood in my house.
Awesome.
And I'm using the hickory.
I'm a sucker for solid wood floor, but there's a million good options. I just love the feel and tradition of a solid wood floor.
Likewise,
Yeah.
yep. I didn't even consider anything besides real hardwood.
Yeah.
Okay, and I still call it.
You're
real
aware of the
hardwood.
negatives and you're okay with that, as am I.
Yeah, and we're not building on the lake. You know,
Yeah.
if I was building on the water, it would be a different story.
Yeah. So,
So-
I see we've got a lot of differing widths here. Like we've done that on a few different projects where we have some different widths. You can have all one width if you,
You
want.
can, yep, but not with this collection.
Okay.
Yep.
That comes.
This comes in the 3 width product.
Okay.
Okay, so their standard is 345. They also offer 3456
Okay.
or 346, but it's always a blended width.
Okay.
Okay,
Got
from
it.
this particular supplier. You know, if you want something that's a more consistent width, you know, we have obviously other brands to choose from. We've got, Mercier, but one of my most popular, my most favorite lines is Proverco. Okay, and they're a Canadian company. Okay, solids and engineered. This is a solid product right here.
Mhm.
This particular one is red oak.
Oh, I like.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
But with this line, everything's going to be the same width. Okay. Also, the unique thing about this line is that every floor you order from Proverco is made for your job.
Oh,
Okay.
so custom made to your job?
Custom made for
Wow.
your job. Okay. So you can actually pick your species. Okay. And they're all domestic hardwoods
Oh,
because
wow.
it's made in Canada. So,
Okay.
So very similar to what we were talking about with the other line, red oak, white oak, hickory, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you can pick your width. Okay. You can pick your platform. Okay. So this one is 3/4 inch solid, but they offer everything from a 5/8 inch engineered to a 3/4 inch engineered. So whether the customer is doing luxury vinyl or hardwood floors, almost every home has a stairway.
Yeah.
Okay, it's there's a few exceptions to that rule, and a lot of times people are wanting to put wood on their stairways
We
as
do
well.
that a lot on
We do,
projects, yeah.
and they're beautiful. Luxury vinyls, the nicer products, they offer coordinating treads. Okay, but when you do a luxury vinyl tread, you can't put a carpet runner.
Yeah.
Okay, and wood stairways are slippery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so sometimes even when people are doing luxury vinyl, they're still doing real hardwood steps.
Which
Okay.
we mix those a lot, and you always get them made to match what we have, and
I do.
they look really great.
Yeah, yep. And we have a finish shop here in town that does a great job. And we'd like to, keep everything as local as possible.
Yeah, love
Okay?
that.
So the caveat to that is that then you need to put something on that stairway. So those wooden stairways, even if people aren't putting runners on immediately when they
Yeah.
build their home,
Yeah.
more often than not, they come back within a year or
Mhm.
two and they want to put carpet on the stairway because the steps are slippery.
Yeah.
Okay. And we also have to face it. None of us are getting any younger. None of us need to take a fall.
Right.
Yeah. So, and what we're finding is that people are doing unique carpets on stairways. They're not just doing that standard plush. Okay. And honestly, carpet's just not being used as much in the home. Okay. So where it is being used, let's do something special.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We're
So
seeing a lot less carpet. A lot of people are sensitive to allergies, or for a lot of reasons, they
Yeah.
might be trying to minimize carpet as much, but it still has kind of a warmth underfoot.
it does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you want to
And
go
it's
look
nice
at
in
carpet?
bedrooms. Yeah. Let's take a look at some carpets. Okay.
I know there's a bazillion different textures and styles and all that, but is there like a general product type maybe that of categories? Like,
Yeah, not necessarily.
No?
Yeah, it's more about fiber.
Okay.
Okay, so at the top of the food chain, we have wool.
All right.
Okay, and most people don't really have a good understanding of wool,
Yeah.
but of course, it's a natural product.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's naturally stain resistant. Okay, and wears well. Okay,
So
and
that
then
would be more of a long-term investment in the
it
wool?
is, yeah. If you look at wool area rugs, they become heirlooms,
Yeah.
that are passed from generation to generation. Well, when we install it on the floor, it's not going to get passed down, but
Right.
it still offers, a extremely durable, stain resistant option. Okay. And, as somebody pointed out to me the other day, wool is more expensive, but wool has maintained stable in price compared to synthetic fibers.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting. Because they're
Because
not a petroleum-based
because they're
product?
not a petroleum based
Interesting.
product. So,
Interesting.
as the price of oil goes up and down, mostly up, okay, the price of the fiber and the carpet goes up. Okay.
Interesting.
Whereas wool carpet from sheep, okay, that eat grass, the price of grass hasn't gone up. So the price of wool carpets hasn't come down, but it hasn't gone up.
So the difference between
The spread is not as much as it used to be.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what other types of products would there be? So you've got wool at the top. What
Wool at the
would you have?
top, and then below that you have nylon.
Okay.
Okay, and one of our most popular nylon collections is this one right here. Look at the colors that
Mhm.
there are to choose from. Okay,
Yeah.
and also patterns within this collection as well. It's a textured product, but they also offer some patterned options as well.
Okay.
Yep, the patterns aren't available in all of the colors, but the majority of the most popular colors are also available in 3 different patterns
Yeah.
to choose from as well, and they're beautiful. And again, because carpet's not being used as much in the home as it used to be, people are tending to use patterns and textures
Yeah.
and
Seeing a lot more of that.
yeah, instead of just your plain old plush carpet.
Right.
Yeah, which there's a place for that, but most people are leaning towards something that has a little bit more uniqueness to it.
Sure.
Okay. A great example is, products like this right here. And most of these are
Oh, that's a very
wools.
patterned
Yeah,
one.
wools and wool blends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cheetah print.
Yes.
You could have whatever you wanted.
You can have whatever you want. Yeah.
The selections are
The
unlimited.
stripes with a little bit of a herringbone, and then there's actually a herringbone. And herringbones continue to be popular, like this. That's just subtle but beautiful.
And I'm
Okay.
sure these types of things really show the installer's skill when
Oh, they sure
putting
do.
these in.
Yeah, yeah. Which brings up a whole nother topic that we haven't talked about, and that's our in-house installation.
Mhm. Which is one of the main reasons that we utilize you guys, because not only do you have access to and knowledge on virtually every product, but you guys are very good at the installation. We've had issues like anything, but you guys always deal with them, and we get top-notch work every
Yes, yeah, and
Yeah.
we really pride ourselves in that.
time. Absolutely.
Yeah, probably, anybody that sees this is going to have seen a Bayview van in town.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and that's either our on-staff installers or our delivery trucks. And we
Right.
also offer delivery to your job site.
Yeah.
So we do try to, put it all into one load and bring it out, but that doesn't always work. If we need to make multiple trips, we do
Right.
what we need to do.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that you're happy and that your clients
We've
are happy.
been very happy for a lot of years.
Well, that's great. We'll hopefully keep doing that.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So this line is wool, but the patterns aren't strictly limited to wool carpets. In the synthetic fibers, they also offer the patterned pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So those are different textures too, and
exactly.
so many fun options.
Oh my gosh, so many beautiful things to choose from. And of course, you can still get the solid colors, the beautiful thick plushes that, some people still prefer that, but
So below nylon, what would our options be? And I'm assuming below nylon would be less. Is there anything below
there
nylon?
is, yep. So below nylon, then we get into the polyesters or the PETs.
And those are more affordable ones?
The PETs are going to be a little less expensive. Okay.
Okay.
And what I would say in the world of PETs, okay, is you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Okay, because there are different grades of PETs.
And I'm assuming, like anything, you can still get some very nice PETs, but you probably have to pay a little bit more to get into those
Exactly.
lines.
Yep. And by the time you get into the better quality PETs, they're not a lot less expensive than a nylon.
Okay. What would
Okay.
the benefits or the negatives of the PETs?
Yeah, one of the real benefits of the PETs is if the customer's going to use it in a room where there's a lot of sunlight, okay, that they're more fade resistant.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, okay. Stain wise, they're exceptional, okay. But the fading is huge with the PETs. So,
Okay.
yeah. So if you have a bedroom that you're going to be using it in, and it gets a lot of light, you got big windows in that space, or any room that's going to get a lot of light, they're going to be more color fast.
How are PETs versus nylon and wool for wear?
Yeah, for performance, again, kind of goes back to you get what you pay for. Okay. The analogy that I love to give is, if you've ever bought a Under Armour item,
Mhm.
okay, those are polyester.
Okay.
Okay, like this.
Yeah.
Okay, this is probably 6 years old, and I can't tell you how many times I've washed it. Still bright black. Okay, doesn't have any stains on it,
Yeah.
and has maintained its shape. Okay, that's what you want carpet to do.
Right.
You want to be able to clean it, and it still have its color
Yeah.
and look beautiful. Okay, so your premium PETs are like that Under Armour piece, something less expensive. Okay, like if you go to Meijer and pick up something similar,
Yeah.
okay, but an off-brand, you might have it for a year and then it's misshaped and just hasn't held up like you would expect it to.
Makes sense.
Okay, so yeah, but you only paid $20 for it versus $50.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life's about choices.
yep, exactly. So there's a big difference in the quality of the yarn.
Makes
Okay,
sense.
and I try to direct people towards that. If it's an area that's not going to get much wear, okay, a lower level that you use a few times a year, then you could use something less expensive.
We
But
see that a lot in houses where maybe the secondary areas we make some cost savings decisions, and then the
Yes.
primary areas we might splurge for those heirloom type items.
exactly,
That's pretty common to
Yep.
value engineer those secondary areas.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are majorly all New Zealand wool.
I've not had any of these. These are thick.
Aren't they amazing?
Wow, that's a lot of wool.
Yeah. Yep. These are those heirloom carpets.
That's cool.
Okay. And these can be used as a broadloom carpet. They can be installed in a bedroom.
This
Okay.
one's about an inch thick almost.
I know,
Wow.
isn't that amazing? Yeah. Yep. Or we can have custom area rugs made out of them as well.
I've seen that done. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool to be able to do
Yeah.
that.
Yep. In fact, we've done that for some of your clients.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is one of our most popular collections in wool. Okay. In fact, this particular pattern of all of the patterns in the display has been one of our most popular. It comes in a beautiful array of colors.
Yeah.
Okay. And honestly, is one of the most stunning, beautiful,
It looks
understated. You can do rugs.
looks very
you
comfortable
can
on
do
your foot too.
broadloom. Makes gorgeous runner on the steps.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the world of wool, okay, it's going to be one of the more affordable options too.
Oh, that's good to
Okay.
know.
Yep. Say that's really, ultimately what we're trying to provide for your customers
Yeah.
is what they want and what
Right.
they desire, and then making it real.
Well, that's the beauty of all these selections is this is where you get to turn your house into exactly what you want. Like
Exactly.
I think that's the fun part is, either customers can come in and choose, they can work with you and you can assist them, or they can even come in with their designers and
Yeah.
like however they want to go about it, there's a million ways we can achieve it. And
Exactly.
you guys have a lot of fun stuff to make it
Yeah.
unique to
And
each
I always
person.
love it when a customer comes in and they were like, wow, you made this so easy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Because really, this shouldn't be hard.
Right.
Yeah. You've dreamed about this your whole life.
Right.
Yeah. And for a lot of people, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to make it fun and not make it something that they want to cry over.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
there's no reason for that.
No. Yeah. We want to make it a fun experience.
Exactly.
And ultimately, we just really want that
Yeah.
process to be fulfilling for them so that when it's all said and done, that they love their new home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm actually in that process myself right
How
now.
fun. So you're
Yeah.
experiencing it yourself.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of renovations,
Yeah.
but I've never built a new home before. So it's a lot of choices.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Everything from the large format tiles, the 24 by 48s, down to the handcrafted looking tiles
Yeah.
here in the Soho NoHo collection. This is an interesting collection because every color comes in the glossy and in the matte. And
Oh, that's nice.
That's what separates the Soho from the NoHo. Okay. So the Soho is the shiny.
Yeah.
And the NoHo is not. Yeah.
That's funny.
But again, this is one of those tiles that looks like a hand mold. Okay. But it's not expensive.
Right.
Without looking up an exact price on something like that, I would say that tile is probably in the $10 to $15 a square foot range.
Sure.
Okay. Whereas when you start getting into the hand molded tiles, you buy them by the piece. Okay. So, you extrapolate that into square foot and it can get really costly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love how you've got the Kerdi on display, so we can
We
actually show
do.
them the waterproofing membrane. This is a product that we're a big fan of because I really believe it works better
Absolutely.
than
Yeah.
the old school ways.
Yeah, the Schluter system offers a completely waterproof shower. Okay. If customers have ever had a tiled shower in the past and they've had mold and mildew issues and they try to scrub it off and it disappears, okay, but then a few days later it comes back, they're never going to fix that because what's happening is it's growing from the back out.
Yep.
So you can remove it from the surface, but you can't remove it from behind. So
In my earlier years, we used to do a lot of bathroom remodels, and whenever we demo a vinyl pan, almost all of them were holding moisture. If they weren't holding moisture, they would be saturated. So
exactly.
this
So you
system
kind of have
keeps
a
the water on the
built-in
surface.
septic system in your shower. Yeah, it's really
That's
disgusting.
graphic, but yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I've seen a lot of those in my career.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I really believe in Schluter.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been selling it for about 20 years. When it's done properly, you have 100% waterproof shower. Okay. And then, of course, they have their floor systems as well.
Right.
Okay. And so many people have had tile installations where they have tiles that crack on the floor. Okay. Because cement board was used. And cement board doesn't protect you from deflection.
Right.
Deflection and movement is going to cause the tile to crack.
Right.
Okay. And the Ditra underlayment accomplishes that.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is our preferred product. When we work with you, we're always using this as our substrate.
Correct.
Complete confidence in that system. So what would be next after where would you start with a customer? Would you start on the floor or the walls or like?
Yeah, we kind of do it all cooperatively. It's usually nice if the shower floor can match the bathroom floor,
Yeah.
because then it just looks like a continuation. Okay, but then we also offer the line drains. Okay, so that if they want to take the bathroom floor right into the shower, even in a barrier-free application, it can just be contiguous.
Yeah, and that's really nice when we do that. We do
It
have
is.
to plan ahead for that, but it's a really nice shower in the end when
Yeah.
we do that.
And you can plan ahead for it, but you don't have to plan ahead for it. It can be something that's done after you have the floor joists in place.
Yeah. How do you
Yeah.
accomplish that?
Yeah. You drop the substrate in the shower area. Okay. So basically you're hanging.
We've done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We create ledges on the joists. and-
Exactly.
yeah.
That's exactly what you do.
Mhm.
So you gain that height so that we can do a barrier free.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes we have to modify the drain location in order to make sure that
Mhm.
we have the proper amount of fall, because the last thing that we want to happen is that shower water to
Right.
get out on the bathroom floor.
Right.
We want to keep it all in there, even though we're doing a barrier-free installation. And it's becoming much more common.
So I know the answer to it, but I thought I'd ask you because I'm sure you have a slightly different answer. But
Yep.
on shower floors, we tend to see the smaller tiles. Why is that?
Yeah, because the floor is concave shaped. Okay. And so the tile has to fit that concave. Okay. And because it's sheet mounted, they can leverage it so that it all slopes towards the
Right.
drain. Whereas when you have a larger format tile,
Yeah.
you can't make that happen. using accents in showers used to be quite popular to do a border in the shower. We're not doing as much of
Not
that
as
as what we
much,
used to
yeah.
do. Yeah, it just tends to be a little bit more of a dated look.
Mhm.
Okay, what we're seeing today is people will do a feature wall.
I like that look. We've done a few
Yeah.
projects like that.
Yeah, and it's really
lately.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and so we have products like this. This particular product is glass. Okay, that we could do a whole feature wall in. Okay, also products like this can be cost prohibitive. Okay, so compared to your field tile that might be anywhere from $5 to $10 a square foot, these products might be $40 or $50 a square foot.
That much more.
That
Wow.
much more. But if you're only doing a field, okay, and not a whole shower or
Right.
a whole bathroom
Yeah.
in it, then it becomes attainable.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, because if you're doing an accent wall in your shower and that is a 4x9 wall, okay, do the math.
Yeah.
Okay, the square footage on that is under 40 square feet. Okay, 40 square feet, maybe $40 more. Okay, I know those seem like big numbers. Okay, but a lot of times what I'll tell people is, when was the last time you went to Costco to pick up a couple of items and you left there spending $500? This is an investment in your home
Yeah.
and something that you're going to look at for the rest of your life.
Sure.
So it's definitely worth it, you know, to do something special.
Yeah.
Okay. And the master shower is a great place. Kitchen backsplashes.
Those are the spots to do what you want to
Exactly.
do, assuming it's affordable and
Yeah,
attainable.
yeah. So keep everything else more affordable. Okay. So that we can try to keep you in budget, and then
Yeah.
we'll give
Well,
you a little jewelry.
You guys have an amazing amount of different details and colors, and I mean, so much fun could be had with the tile in here. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
your imagination could go completely wild
It
in here.
can, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, from the products that you see in,
Mhm.
in this display, all of these beautiful accent materials, pebbles.
There's a lot of-
People still love the pebbles.
I see
You know,
you've
for
got
that kind of
different textures over here, which that's pretty wild.
yeah, for that more of an up
Yeah,
north look.
more natural.
Yep. Yep. And these are natural. They're actually stones that are sliced and they're sheet mounted.
We've
So
had quite a few of those on shower floors and projects
we
we've done
have.
together.
Yep. Yep. They're
My
really
own
beautiful.
personal shower is a little like that on the floor.
Oh, is it?
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. And and these are all different price levels as well. So we have some that are going to be more affordable. Okay. And some that are a little bit more expensive.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I would say one of the other things that is becoming more popular is the book match tiles.
Oh, that's cool. I've never had that on a project.
Yeah. Yep.
I like
And
that.
these are great for a feature wall. Okay. So these are just samples so that people can take these home. These tiles actually don't come in this size. They come 24 inches wide by 48 inches.
And that would be kind of like what's on the side right here. Oh, wow.
Yes,
Yeah, check that out. So
Yeah.
you can do some pretty unique things.
you can.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look at the back side of this display, we actually have two pieces of tile that are book matched.
Yeah,
That's
I
actually
can see how that would be a cool detail
Yeah.
on a fireplace or a wall. Like, you could do a lot of cool stuff
Yep.
with that. It's
Yep.
like a Rorschach test.
Yeah. I actually had a client that she had a feature wall that when you walked into her walk-in closet, there was a feature wall and we used
That's nice.
a tile.
I like
And then
that.
you walked into the closet where her wardrobe was
That's awesome.
located,
That's
and it
really
was
awesome.
it was really beautiful. It just kind of made a statement when you entered into that space.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not for everyone, but for those higher end clients, okay, or somebody that just wants to make a space
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got a
it's
very
really-
unique look.
Yeah.
I can see that in certain places, but
Yeah.
I think, like you said, not for everybody, but I'm
Yeah.
sure to somebody that speaks to them greatly.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So, kind of going back to maintenance on tile. Okay, most of the tile that we sell is porcelain tile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, of course, there's always glass accents and pebble that's natural stone. Okay, but apart from that, we want to be really careful about maintenance. Okay, and that you use a pH balanced cleaner. Okay, so we don't want anything caustic, no bleach, no ammonia. If you're going to use white vinegar, use it sparingly.
Okay.
A capful goes a long ways. Okay.
What can happen if you don't use
Yeah.
it sparingly?
Well, because they're acidic, they can actually eat away Okay, at the grouts, certain grouts are more sensitive to that than others.
Okay.
Okay, but it will degrade, and if you have a polished tile, those products can even scratch.
Oh, so it almost like etches the
It
surface?
etches,
Wow.
exactly, because it's acid.
Yeah.
Okay, so pH balanced cleaners are really important.
Do you have
know?
any recommendations of products, general recommendations, or?
We don't specifically for tile.
Okay.
You know, for carpet and hardwood, luxury vinyl, we actually sell a full line of
Sure.
cleaners for
Yeah.
those. Okay, and we have access to cleaners, but really, original Windex goes a long ways.
Oh, okay.
Okay. For cleaning, and that actually goes a long ways for cleaning in many areas in your home. It's not just for windows. You can use it on some hardwood floors. You can use it on tile. You know, and we've talked about maintenance some. A big part of the maintenance is staying on top of it.
Yeah,
So
right. Don't
cleaning
wait
that
till it's
shower
got build
regularly.
up on it. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's going to be a lot easier to take care of.
Yeah.
As we're talking about maintenance, we carry the Shaw hardwood floor cleaner and
Okay.
carpet cleaner.
Yep.
And these products work remarkably well. Okay. You know, Shaw is the biggest manufacturer of flooring in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so they have formulated these products to work with their products, but they work with their products and others. Okay, so their hard surface floor cleaner can be used with hardwood floors, it can be used with vinyl floors, it can be used with tile floors, okay, in a diverse number of applications. So,
Okay.
so I recommend it. It's pH balanced, so it's not going to etch or damage anything.
Okay.
Okay,
And that's been
And the-
specially formulated to work with any hard surface, really.
it is.
Okay.
Yep. That's why they call it
How-
a hard surface cleaner.
How would they ask that you apply this?
Yeah, so you would spray it directly on the floor. You mist the floor.
Okay.
Okay, and then I recommend using a microfiber mop.
Okay. And
Okay.
you just rub that around
Yeah.
and
And that's, of course, after you vacuum
right.
or sweep the floor, you know,
Right.
because you want to remove any loose debris
Right.
before you
Absolutely.
start applying.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to,
Don't need to smear it around.
you don't need to smear it around. Yep. And then their carpet cleaner for all of their synthetic fibers. Okay. And that would be for any Shaw product or any other brand of synthetic fiber.
And how
Okay.
would you use this product?
Yeah, that you would spray directly on the carpet. Okay. And then you dab it, okay, with a white cloth,
Okay.
okay, to absorb the stain.
So this would be in a stain spot you would utilize this.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. And then, of course, you know, maintenance with carpet also would include professional steaming. Okay, steam extraction cleaning, and that needs to be done every 18 to 24 months.
Okay.
Okay.
Do the manufacturers have a recommendation on how often you vacuum or how often?
They don't. The one thing that they do not recommend is the Dyson vacuums.
Oh,
Okay, because they just have too much suction. Okay, so that when that brush is going around, it's going around so rapidly and it's got such force with it that it actually can damage the fiber.
interesting.
Okay, so other than that, just regular maintenance.
Okay.
You know, if you vacuum once or twice a week, if you vacuum once a day, okay, you really can't overdo it.
Good.
But you can damage it with the wrong vacuum.
Good to know.
Okay, you know, and of course, if you have a spill or a stain, you're going to want to remove the bulk of that before you apply a cleaner.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you want to get rid of any chunks that
Yeah.
might happen, you know, because
Absolutely.
you know, who knows, you know, what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had red wine stains in my own home, and, you know, I've had children that
Can
have
be
gotten
hard to
sick.
get things
and,
out.
Yeah. Yep. So you want to remove, you know, the bulk of the stain first, and then you want to go after it with the stain cleaner.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you have here?
Yeah. So back here, we have some more generic type products. So this is a once and done pH balanced floor cleaner, okay, that can be used on luxury vinyl, and it's a concentrate. So this one you can buy in a concentrated form, and then you can water it down and put it in your own container at home. So it's a little bit of a cost savings, but this cannot be used on hardwood floors. And then we talked about oiled floors.
Mhm.
Okay. The particular oil floor that we looked at does have its own maintenance products, but this is more of a generic oiled floor cleaner, okay, and oil.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
it's a 2-in-1 product.
Exactly. Yeah. So products that are necessary to keep that floor looking beautiful long term.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, because we don't want you to have a floor in a couple of years that isn't looking as
Right.
beautiful as it could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's perfect. Really appreciate your input on the maintenance of
Yeah.
those. Robin, I really appreciate you taking the time today to walk us through, educate us on these flooring projects and products that exist. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, I have a passion for what I do, and I think that it shows. I hope that it does.
It
Yeah,
does. It absolutely.
and I so enjoy working with you and your clients. You have just the kindest customers. So
Aw, thank you.
it's awesome.
We do
Yeah.
have great customers.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll look forward to a lot of years working together.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate it.
Colin, thank you.